views and opinions expressed on Geeks Under the Influence are that of the panelists and not of our sponsors, Amazon.com and TeePublic. Parental discretion is advised.
Punks for Presidents, that interview, is that there's bands that they're covering that are not Christmas bands. Their songs aren't about Christmas stuff, and then they just put some tinsel on it and call it a Christmas band. Is the same thing with like Die Hard or literally anything Shane Black has ever done.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is why people get like militant over it.
Oh no, that's people taking it way too seriously.
Right.
Yeah, but
Like-
we nearly started a Fallout fight because of that one.
Right.
Okay, I nearly started
Okay,
a Fallout
yeah.
fight because of that one.
I mean, I'll get up in arms and I'll fake a fight over an Oxford comma, and it'll be funny for like 2 minutes, but then I drop the gag. I'm
Yeah.
talking about these people who will launch into like multi-page Reddit streams about like why this or that is or is not a Christmas movie and what constitutes a Christmas movie. It's like,
Nope.
why do you care?
Well, I think at the end of the day, if you want it to be a Christmas movie, then to you it's a Christmas movie.
Right. Exactly.
Although I did have someone tell me one time that they said Home Alone is not a Christmas movie, and I'm like, okay, you're just completely
now
wrong.
that's
all right,
just dumb.
yeah.
That's
That's absolutely
he
a
completely
Christmas
disagreed.
Al, if it takes place during Christmas, then for you can technically call it a Christmas movie. Now, will everyone agree with you? Not necessarily. Like the newest Spider-Man movie, the end of the movie, he's swinging past the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the big moments at the end where he's like, yep, still Spider-Man. And there's a Christmas
And
tree.
it's still New York.
And so if you really wanted to call No Way Home a Christmas movie, you have the tiniest bit of an excuse to call it that. But you know what? If that's what you want to watch around Christmas to feel the Christmas spirit, then fuck it, do it.
I'd rather call Hawkeye a Christmas series because
I agree.
That's more. It's Christmas time.
I still haven't watched an episode yet.
By the way, it happens near Christmas.
Yeah.
I kind of figured. I mean, I only just watched the Black Widow movie like last night.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
I haven't seen
Apparently,
Hawkeye either.
the stinger scene for Black Widow is
leads
the lead
this.
in to Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And
There's a
also
tie-in.
has Louise Dreyfus, who was also in Captain America.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Winter
Yeah.
Soldier. So.
Yeah.
Oh, they're setting up Thunderbolts for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly. She's a recruiter
I'm
for
okay with
Thunderbolts.
it.
Yeah, me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
The new Spider-Man, it takes place during Christmas. And I would say that Hawkeye is way more Christmas focused.
Oh, yeah.
It's got all that, like, that Shane Black action comedy kind of energy to it, even though he's not involved. But it's that, it's funny, there's action elements, it's during the holidays, it's you know, a loner badass that's trying to get home to, you know, enjoy the holiday.
Yeah,
It
but he gets stuck with a
screams
teenage girl.
So Hawkeye is Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
Yes. Hawkeye is trying to get the last Turbo Man, and
Oh, wow.
He'll be home for Christmas.
he'll be home for Christmas. No, but the new Spider-Man movie, yeah, it does take place during the holidays, but it doesn't really lean on that too terribly hard. You get some mention that it takes place during that, but
Yeah, but only at the very end.
yeah, only at the
Yeah.
very end. It could have leaned on that a little bit harder, but honestly, it had so much to work through in the 2.5 hours whereabouts. I
Was
think.
it 2.5?
I think it was about 2.5. It did
Wow.
not feel it.
No, it did not
No.
feel like it at all.
Breezed by.
No.
Which, by the way, spoilers before we go any further. That I ruined. There's a Christmas tree in it.
If you're listening to this and you don't realize we do spoilers,
That's not even the most important tree in the movie. There's a tree that might be an evil, like Spider-Man villain.
is this tree like
It's just a tree, man.
It's just a tree, man.
Okay.
Such a great
It's Evil Groot.
evil Groot. Yeah. Oh man, that should have been the stinger scene. Is
Yeah.
that like its eyes open?
I mean, not outside of canon.
No.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. I can probably safely say that everybody here on the panel thoroughly enjoyed the new Spider-Man movie. Is that a safe?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a lot to unpack. So I'm just going to go ahead and get going with the episode because we've got so much to talk about on this episode of Geeks Under the Influence. We are talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, the third in the trilogy of Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. All with home in the name, I guess, is
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
But
He's the hometown hero.
he is. He is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that really comes into play significantly when there's a lot more neighborhood that we're talking about on this
True.
on this movie. without further ado, thank you so much for listening. This is Geeks Under the Influence Spider-Man No Way Home. Woo! Yay! Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the last Geeks Under the Influence episode for 2021. We made it.
God.
We did it.
I don't know if I'm happier that this is the last episode of 2021 or this is the end of 2021.
I don't know. That
Definitely the latter.
It depends on how 2022 treats us. And it's not looking great so far.
Not really.
Are we going to have an insurrection the first weekend?
I don't think even the worse by comparison or better by comparison is going to help me remember 2021 as anything other than a trash fire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Which is interesting that this is the episode that we're ending the year that was a trash fire by reminiscing both the good and the bad parts of the Spider-Man movies of years past, meaning
all of the Sony ones at least.
All the Sony ones and Spider-Man 3.
Was that one not Sony?
Yeah, that was Sony, but it was still when Marvel was more heavily involved back during the Tobey Maguire era. For the Sony Andrew Garfield ones, they were pretty much like, nah, you do your own thing.
Yeah, we're not taking any credit or blame for this.
Or blame, yeah. I'm the Rhino, which I loved that they shat on that in this movie.
They had a Russian guy.
They shat on all of it.
And the fact that Andrew Garfield...
lovingly.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield was like winking at the camera, basically, when he was like, I had some Russian dude in a Rhino costume. Wink, wink. Just fully.
No, the comparison of like, I get the lame villains, the terrible ones.
Yeah, but you're amazing.
Yes. Even when
loved every time
Spider-Man is like, I'm number 3.
Yes.
Owning it.
He's like, thank you. I really needed to hear that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
I mean, he was very much embodying the self-deprecating Spider-Man.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I suck. And then he's like, finally sees another version of himself, and both of them seem like more together than he is, and he's like, wow, I really suck.
Right?
Like, even in a room full of Peter Parkers, I'm the lame
You're
one?
the lame Peter Parker.
Yeah. Well, he was the emo one, other than, not Spider-Man 3. We're not talking about that.
We're not talking about
that. We're not talking about that scene.
Montage.
We're not talking about that scene.
So it was kind of funny to me because I saw it the first night, Thursday night, and then I saw it again Sunday. And then it's like, when Andrew comes out, when Tobey comes out, like the first night, everyone's freaking out at Tobey.
Oh, yeah.
Like, rah. And then when I saw it on Sunday, Andrew got a bigger reaction. And I was just like, there's like some generation, like, I don't know, is it like mid-20s?
Yeah,
like
I don't
they use
know.
the emo, like it's the people that went to Hot Topic. They just really love Andrew Garfield. Like he was skateboarding and I don't know. I think there's just like, he has like a fan base. And people love him.
It was a couple years before dabbing was a thing, but I could have seen him during the skateboard montage just doing a dab, and then just all the girls melting in the theater.
Flossing.
Flossing.
Nope.
Spider-Man flossing for sure.
Yeah,
that would have been the
I was still waiting for the 70s Spider-Man to come through.
Oh my God, or the Japanese Spider-Man.
Oh
Would've been
God.
incredible.
Italian Spider-Man. For me.
Yes. But let's get into our different iterations of panelists that we have on this episode. First and foremost, a 90s pop culture enthusiast and blogger and comedian, Tori Sipe is here.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. You needed to be on this just because, for the simple fact of the number of different iterations of Spider-Man figures you have in your home.
Yeah, I very much love Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's pretty clear in your movie room how much you love Spider-Man.
And the tattoo on my body.
Yes,
as well.
that also is a helpful
bonus.
I'm kind of a detective in that way that I can tell when people are into certain
I
things.
really try to hide it. So
yeah, clearly.
Not a lot of people
With your
know.
Nerdy by Nature t-shirt on that you're wearing, yeah. It's, you have a blog.
Yes.
The blog is
Let's Talk Pop.net.
it is full of all sorts of 90s pop culture goodness, including significant love for boy bands.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta.
If you follow me on TikTok at Tori Sipe, lots of instant content for you.
Yeah, lot.
Lots.
Hold on, let me go grab my phone. I need to update my...
Yeah, follow me. Follow me right now.
Speaking of the gentleman that's updating his phone, the Dungeonmaster Supreme, and you can take that any way that you want, And our regular panelists here, Jack is here.
Hey, always glad to be back.
We were able to see the Spider-Man movie together.
Yeah, it was a great crowd. I think that was the first time we actually saw a movie together in theaters.
That might have been,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is surprising, honestly.
Yeah,
But
no, it was a great time. I think that's the first time I've been in a movie. Well, no, I went and saw Carnage with a couple of friends as well. So,
Okay.
Like that was the only 2 movies I actually saw in theaters this year. Was Carnage and Spider-Man.
There's a theme.
yeah. Next up, a showrunner and my co-host for this episode. Long time since you've been a co-host. You've done that once or twice before, I think. But
I know. Actually, I've never been the co-host. I've been on panels before, but I've never been your co-host.
I thought you were a co-host once before,
No.
like ages ago.
No, never.
Okay, well, then pop in your cherry on co-hosting. The man from the future.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire before any of us did.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
kept his mouth shut.
No, I didn't.
The Bruce of the future, the Bruce is here.
Hello, everyone.
You can hear him on GUI Precap every week before our major release on the stream. Little thing telling us about the week ahead of us.
Yes, everything that you want to know, and a lot of things that you don't want to know. What's going to happen next week? Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, especially getting into the holidays, it gets, I'm sure, very weird on the schedule of releases.
Yeah, it kind of does. But thankfully, I have not talked about any Lifetime movies at all this year.
Amy Bogart.
So we need to fix that,
And I
right?
watched.
No.
It was a Hallmark-esque movie, but it was on Netflix called Single All the Way.
I saw that.
Yeah, I think I talked about that one.
it's-
Yeah.
It lives in this weird in-between where the dialogue is good enough that it's not as fun to make fun of, but it's not good. Like it's in this nice little abyss in between where it's like watchable. It's not amazing, but it's
like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
yeah, kind of, well, not part two.
Oh.
Part two, when all the villains just announce their names. I'm Electro. I'm the Rhino, and there's just no lead up to it.
All right. And the person to my left, your right, is going to be the host, the guru, the man who wants to be Santa Claus. It's Mike the Hobbit.
No, I just have the diet of Santa Claus.
That's what I was going with. Yeah, I wasn't going to be, that mean to you, but no.
Yeah.
The man who wants to be Santa Claus.
He's a very jolly fellow.
Yes, he is.
Look forward to this year for the ho-ho-ho-hos that they have available for purchase. Yes, I'm Mike the Hobbit from Geeks Under the Influence and many other shows on the network, all of which you can find at GUIPodcast.com for links to all the different shows and our social media. Join the conversation. Hit us up on all the Twitters and the Instagrams and the Facebooks and stuff. And join the conversation. Let us know what you want to hear in the new year because we have some open spaces going into January. So we are all about getting suggestions. As Jack turns evil and starts rubbing his hands together.
Doing exactly what a DM does.
Yeah.
Plotting.
Plotting, correct.
Isn't a DM's job just basically, all right, let's just get him stop hurting cats.
That's your
get
DM
across the
job.
fucking bridge. Get across the fucking bridge. Stop trying to seduce the fish.
That's your job as a DM.
So No Way Home, this takes place directly after the debacle at the end of Far From Home, where Peter Parker has been unmasked. Everybody knows who he is. He is being blamed for all the shit that went down in London from Mysterio. They kind of just shoved off the legal ramifications of that pretty quickly in this movie.
Well, Matt Murdock's a really good lawyer.
He's a really
Very
good
good.
lawyer.
Really good lawyer.
That was such a wonderful early little Easter egg that they threw in that that Charlie Cox is the MCU's Daredevil. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah. And he just kind of yeah, no problem. Oh, yep, it's him.
It's him.
It's him. There you go.
There was rumor on a lot of the things that were confirmed, including Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield being involved, but there was no confirmation on any of these leading up to the movie. There was a thing with the, I think, Brazilian trailer where there's the scene where they're at the Statue of Liberty and all the three villains are jumping at Spider-Man and Spider-Man's jumping at them, and then the lizard gets kicked by a ghost. You don't see what hits him.
That was the American trailer they showed once, and then all of a sudden the internet jumped all over that and went, hey, how come he's getting kicked for no reason? and then they took it off.
My favorite is the meme going around where it's got Bonesaw from the first Spider-Man Tobey Maguire movie that's hitting him with a chair. Oh man, if Bonesaw showed up at the end, I'm like, perfect movie.
He could have been it. He's ready.
I mean, that would have been the most amazing part about it because that's probably the only one who's not around.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, him and James Franco, but we're not talking about him because nobody wants to talk about him anymore.
I like that they're like, yep, my son. Nope.
He's dead.
Just matter of fact, like,
Where's
no,
my son?
He didn't come through.
No, he didn't come through.
I like
Screw that guy.
that they make a big to do about the fact that the reason that they came through is because they know who Peter Parker is, and that's how they came through, except Electro didn't.
Never knew.
And James Franco did. And they're like,
Yeah.
no.
We also never
Neither
got
did Venom.
Yeah. Well, no, Ash.
Well,
He didn't know him, but he did come through.
Well, not that
But he
iteration
didn't-
of Venom.
Yeah.
Right, but that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like the guys who were supposed to have come through were supposed to be the ones who knew Peter Parker
Yes,
is Spider-Man.
exactly.
Except that version of Venom
doesn't
doesn't
know.
even know Peter Parker or
Exists.
Spider-Man exists.
Yeah, because
Yet
there
he's
is no
there.
in that universe.
Yeah, there is no Spider-Man in the Venom universe at
Yeah.
all. So
Right.
but Venom knows who Spider-Man is. He knows all the things in the universe, so therefore, he's attached to Tom Hardy. You know
in
what?
the
It's-
one
No.
universe,
No.
No.
it's the thing is,
they
it's like
couldn't use Topher Grace.
yeah, true.
No.
Oh, no.
absolutely
That's
not.
why they had to be like,
no.
we'll just make it a thing.
Oh, what would have been brilliant is if the stinger
Wait.
scene where you've got Tom Hardy talking about stuff and there's a little bit of symbiote that's left over.
Yeah.
And then you just pan over and there's the Eddie Brock that is Topher Grace sitting at the bar next to it like, oh, what's that? Looks at it.
Oh God, no.
And his like Topher Grace, like, oh, what is it?
That's weird. Yeah, anyway,
Yeah. And then he starts dancing.
hair turns black, starts flossing. Spider flossing.
Hanging out down the street.
God.
And then he turns into Katie Lang.
Yes.
That symbiont show.
Yeah.
So, with Spider-Man, he has a really good lawyer. So the legal aspects of it are gone, except apparently Happy is still under investigation for missing Tony Stark equipment, which also doesn't really make sense because this isn't like government-owned equipment. This is like this is Tony's shit.
Yeah.
So
Right, but the Department of Damage Control
yeah.
is supposed to be like making sure this super technology doesn't go out and wreak havoc. And you want to talk about super technology that goes out and wreaks havoc. It's anything that Tony Stark has ever built, ever.
no
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's one of those, and that's kind of why I love the MCU is that like the majority of the problems that they're fighting, they created, or they're
Oh, yeah. Abomination is a result of America trying to recreate the super soldier serum.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking all of Tony Stark's villains are pretty much twisted versions of himself.
yeah, he created Ultron. Well, in the
Yeah.
MCU, he created Ultron.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
Mysterio.
Mysterio is
Yep.
created by Tony Stark technology.
Yeah.
Electro is superpowered by Tony Stark technology.
Yep.
Really, like in the MCU, Tony Stark is actually the source of most of their problems.
Even Iron Man 2, Whiplash is the son of a dude that got fucked over by Tony's dad.
who helped design
Helped design the
Tony Stark technology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And J. Jonah Jameson, who's played by J.K. Simmons, was in the movie Whiplash. So
Yeah.
It all ties
It all ties
together.
together.
it all ties together.
It's one big universe just tied together in a bow.
Little did we know that
Multiverse.
J. Jonah Jameson, really good drummer. Really, really good drummer.
So good. So good.
I believe it. He hits the point every time.
Yeah, that's true. Man, and I love that that was really the first previous Spider-Man character that came into this universe
Yeah.
is this version of J. Jonah Jameson, who's balding and is an Alex Jones type.
Oh,
And-
yeah. God, that was
Which-
hilarious.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
chef's kiss.
Hilarious.
It's such a lovely...
I understand that the framing is to make him look like an Alex Jones type, but J.K. Simmons is still playing the same J. Jonah Jameson that he has always been
Oh,
playing.
sure.
Yes.
He's not doing a parody of Alex Jones. It's just the framing, the studio
Yeah.
piece, and
Yeah.
and the way they do the graphics. It's supposed to look like
and
InfoWars.
the vitamins.
Right, but when J.K. Simmons is doing his J. Jonah Jameson, he's just being the same J. Jonah Jameson, which
Yeah.
I think is a lot more closer to the mark because I don't think JJ in the comics is necessarily an Alex Jones type.
No, he's
No.
not. No. He's definitely not a character that he's not the conspiracy theory pumping type of moron
Right.
that the other one is. But
Careful, we don't want to lose our Alex Jones listener contingency of.
hey, if you're an Alex Jones listener, go the fuck away.
Damn it! There goes the one.
The one.
The one.
Oh, there goes our numbers.
Yeah, like the if there's anything I can say about the MCU is they try and get like the best version of the character in a modern setting, and I think the best version of JJ is an honest-to-God journalist who believes very much in the power of the press, and he believes in the court of public opinion, and he just doesn't trust people who wear masks and hide their identity. And most of the MCU heroes that you actually see don't have secret identities.
Not
Spider-Man is really the only
not the
one.
ones you have on screen right now.
Not
no.
in the MCU, which is actually kind of a flip flop from the comics because a lot of the characters. I mean, obviously not Steve Rogers.
Right.
They're not. Oh, who's Captain America? Like, yeah, he looks the same the whole time. It's not.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of the characters. That's why I'm interested to see how they deal with the Fantastic Four, because that was major plot points for the Fantastic Four as being one of the few like powered teams that everybody knew who they were.
And it was also the counterpoint that JJ used most of the time. It's like, why can't Spider-Man be like the Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Why is he wearing a mask? What does he got to hide?
But I like
Exactly.
that in this version of it, the reasoning for him wearing the mask more than anybody else really is because he's a fucking kid.
Which makes sense.
He's
Yeah.
a child.
Yeah.
That, again, Tony Stark's fault, that he recruited a 15-year-old to fight like super powered people.
Yeah, and almost got him killed.
Almost got him killed.
Yeah.
Child endangerment.
Yes.
That's what when they
Child endangerment. I don't know.
when they give child endangerment as a possibility for my future nothing to me because she can do way better, Marissa Tomei. I'm not trying to play. Yeah, no. She's like, very nice to meet you, and then she moves on with her life.
Yeah, signs the paper, moves away.
Yeah, right. But
Security.
they mention child endangerment, and well, not entirely untrue. She's not really being like, yeah, you go beat up those space aliens. She wants him around to like help raise money for like the homeless and stuff.
Yeah.
The easier stuff that Spider-Man does.
Right.
But that is a big thing I did want to discuss, is that it's not something that I really recognized until the moment in this movie that Uncle Ben isn't really the origin story to Spider-Man the way that it is in the comics and in the other iterations. It is his uncle who passed, but it doesn't have that same kind of clout that it did for Spider-Man's birth in this version.
The thing is, there was no need for a Spider-Man. You had Aunt May. From everything I've read, they took this trilogy and made it his origin story. So
Sure.
There wasn't the whole, like the first movie, the Tobey Maguire or the Andrew Garfield ones, where you had, hey, this is what happened. This is how I got my powers. No, everybody's got that part. Let's just talk about how he becomes the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and how it got to that point. So when the fourth movie comes out, and yes, it will, they can start, boom, here's Spider-Man that everybody knows.
And I think it's also a counterpoint to one of the criticisms that I usually hear about people talking about the Uncle Ben character is that why would he ever tell a little kid the "with great power comes great responsibility" speech? Like, what context did that conversation happen in? Whereas when Aunt May says it in this movie, it's in the context of she's already seen him be powerful and doing good for people. And then he hits this major block and he's like, this is too hard. It's not my responsibility. I just want to walk away. And she's like, no, see, because it's hard and because you have the power and I've seen you take challenges means you are responsible because nobody else can do this.
And that really gets into the meat of what it is, for me at least, what it is to be Spider-Man. And I've seen this across the board online, people saying this is really the first time that they've felt that Tom Holland's Spider-Man really gets to the real meat of that character. Of it's somebody that's impossibly young to be dealing with the heft of loss like this character has, where he's lost everyone, lost their parents, lost Uncle Ben, in this case, lost Aunt May as well, lost his, like kind of replacement dad in Tony Stark, or at least his mentor, at the very least. He's lost friends. He's the weight on his shoulders from all this loss is incredible, and to be optimistic and still fight the good fight in it will carrying that is kind of why this character's so important. It's that against all odds, against all that pain and suffering, still pushing through and doing what's good for the world. That's the strength of Spider-Man. It's not the web slinging, it's not all the acrobatics. That helps, but it's that.
It's what they do.
It's what they do.
It's what they do.
It is what they do. I wish there was a better line than that. Then it's what we, because that's kind of like the Spider-Man version of Girls Get It Done. It's like, it's what we do, and then you just have like a fucking dubstep track in the background as they all like fucking high five and shit. It's what we do, Spider-Man.
What I'm liking also, though, is that the setup for this one, when we do get the fourth Spider-Man, it's going to be a lot more of the classic Spider-Man, is that now Tom Holland is going to be a struggling character.
Yeah.
So he's going to be a lot more of that like neighborhood Spider-Man where he's got everyday problems on top of superhero problems, because he also has to deal with no support, no friends, and he's got to struggle to survive in a world that doesn't know who he is. Like, in either way.
And I think more so than the other movies really explained, it does give you a really good idea that why this version, now that everybody's forgotten who he is, that he's going to be so militantly protective of his identity. Because he's seen what it's done to people. He's seen how much it's hurt people in the past, that it's like, it's a trauma that he has ruined people's lives by them being associated with him. And so he's going to hold strong to that.
Yeah, he has to protect, because everybody who's known who he is has either died or their lives have been absolutely destroyed.
Just fucked.
Yeah.
The amount of growth that Tom Holland does in this movie is just like when Doctor Strange is casting the spell and he's like, oh wait, actually no, like MJ should know. Oh wait, my best friend, wait, Happy should know, like this. But at the end, he's just like, no, everyone can forget me.
I don't know if it was, I know partially it was the clothing choices they made for him, but also I'm sure there was a lighting thing they did and the angle of the camera. But there was something about when he walked into that coffee shop at the end of the movie to talk to MJ, there was a way that he held himself, that was the first time that I looked at Tom Holland. Even in other movies, I saw Cherry and it was like a 12-year-old in war. Like, why are you a soldier? You're 12. That was the first time that I've really seen him, and he looked like an adult. Like there was something about how he held himself, about how they portrayed him in that scene, that he had, that was his gateway into adulthood. Trial by fire, to be like, he is no longer teenager Spider-Man. This is now the young adult Spider-Man dealing with all the trials and tribulations.
Yep. I'm still flabbergasted by the fact that they made a Brand New Day actually work,
right,
and not be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Spider-Man gets magic to erase the fact that his identity's been exposed, and it has weight, it has consequences, it involves character growth. It's not a reset, it's an actual propelling the story forward, in a good way.
And there's absolutely no Mephisto in any part of this whatsoever.
No.
Yet.
Well, don't
yet me. Don't put that in the universe.
Well,
we're getting evil Doctor Strange. We're gonna get the devil.
Not only that, but they've already played with storylines that had Mephisto in it with WandaVision. There was a lot of plot points that really
everybody thought
Mephisto.
it was going to be
And then with this, that One More Day is where he goes to Doctor Strange first, I think, in One More Day.
Yeah.
And then Doctor Strange's like, nah, bruh. And so he ends up going to Mephisto to do the deal.
They want to shove Morbius down our throats first. They just wanna,
Don't remind me that that's a thing.
This documentary about Jared Leto being a vampire, we all know.
We all know he's a vampire, yeah.
Where's the petition for not giving Jared Leto any more fucking work?
Yeah.
I 1000% agree.
That whole trailer looks like garbage, but at the end of the trailer where he's wearing the hood and he's like, who are you? And he's like, I'm Venom. Rah, just kidding. I'm Doc. It's so not funny.
I hate it.
It's so bad. Like,
I hate it.
Terrible.
It's
I
cringy.
hate it. It's so cringy. I hate it so much. I am probably not going to be watching Morbius in the theater.
No,
because I have no interest. I really don't.
I will probably see it. I don't know if I'll see it in the theater.
I'll watch it at some point.
We'll watch it. I mean, I still haven't seen Black Widow yet. I'll see it soon, but it's just one of those.
I have more interest in Black Widow than ever seeing a Morbius movie.
I am interested in like how Michael Keaton's Vulture fits into
Sure.
the Morbius, and then also there's like other stuff. So it's like, is it like the first 5 minutes like he's in the multiverse and then he's not? Like,
Yeah, because
so which universe is he in?
Yeah, which universe is he in is the question. Because if Vulture's there, then
he's in Tom Holland's, but then they had Tobey Maguire's. Like, I don't know.
yeah, I'm not sure.
That's
but-
the only aspect of it I'm interested in.
Yep.
Because if it's in another universe, I'm like, oh, okay, bye. Like, get out of here.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to bend your guys' ear on with the villains that were involved in this movie is that, first off, this is proof positive that Willem Dafoe doesn't need a mask to play the Goblin.
I know he doesn't.
It was more menacing and more terrifying with just his weird face. It was so much more effective.
He was almost playing his version of the Joker in a way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. He was playing his version of the
When he was
Joker,
getting
which
punched
is
and he just started grinning
and
more
just
and
laughing
more.
at him.
Oh
It's
my
like,
God.
Yeah.
It was so
great.
reminiscent of Dark Knight with Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Like that whole scene.
Mm-hmm.
So he did brilliantly in the movie.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I think the golden god of the of it is still Alfred Molina
Oh my God.
as
Yeah.
Doc Ock.
Beautiful.
I think he is like everybody else can play up their villain or they can ham it up, and Jamie Foxx is an absolute clown. But I'm telling you, the actual guy who's acting his ass off is Alfred Molina.
Yep.
And Tom Holland. But
Yeah.
And I want to talk about Jamie Foxx a little bit.
yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
This, and from everything I've seen, I did a little research. Here's my theory. It's a variant. It's not the same. It's not the same Electro that we saw in Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's a variant. That's why he looks different. That's why he knows who he is. That's why it's a variant. I know they talked about his appearance changing, but I don't totally buy that. That's why I'm thinking it's a variant.
Well, actually, it's very sneaky, his appearance changing thing, because they talk about him having a comb over, his teeth being bad. The teeth stuff is new. That's new information. But as we've already found out about the MCU universe, is that electricity can change your hairstyle. It happened in Endgame with Thor, where electricity braided his beard.
yes, that
So-
is true.
So if electricity can braid your beard, it can also fix your comb over.
But can it fix your eyes?
No.
Damn it.
Or your teeth.
Yeah, you're on.
Well, he did say the energy he was feeling when he was charging up
Was
on the electric
different.
line was different.
Yeah.
So
I think
Yep.
there was, and I think it will come out as the further away we get from the premiere of this movie about the conversation about getting these people back. And there's been a little bit, one of which is that Willem Dafoe was only willing to play the role if he was able to do his own stunts, which,
Wow.
yeah.
Fine,
He's
go
a
ahead.
fucking
fucking madman.
He's in his 60s, like, only if I could do my stunts. And they're like, fuck, okay, I guess, shit.
We're gonna stab you.
let me
though.
talk to
You know
legal.
that, right?
But there are a couple things with Jamie Foxx that I think he looked at how much shit he got for playing Electro in the original Amazing Spider-Man 2. And he was like, yeah, but only under a couple circumstances. And they're like, we'll fucking shoehorn it in there that you have better hair and teeth. Just fuck it. I look different here. Literally nobody else looks different.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally, they had to de-age everybody.
yeah. He was probably like, yeah, that. And also, I do want to be the first person to mention like a black Spider-Man. And they're like, yeah, fine, fuck. Yeah, here you go.
I thought in Amazing 2, he was honestly my favorite part of Amazing 2. I loved Jamie Foxx's Electro. Yeah, he was blue, whatever, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I really loved him coming back. And yeah, no, they had to get rid of the blue because, the energy, the electricity, it changed his thing, the
Great,
power.
he's a Smurf.
But they just wanted him to be green and yellow again. So
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And gave him his mask, sort of.
yeah, but I thought he was I thought he was great.
Well, and that's the thing is like I'm nitpicking about Electro and how they use the character and how they just kind of figured out how to make him look like Jamie Foxx again instead of like the Steve Urkel version of like there's Steve Urkel and then there's Steve Urkel. Like it's like the different
Stefan.
I'm sorry, Stefan Urkel. It's the different universes of Electro. Stefan Electro is this version of it. But the thing is, like, I'm not going to begrudge Jamie Foxx of that because he's not going back to that comb over and teeth situation again.
No.
Fine. And it's one of those like Days of Future Past thing where you try to explain how they were able to cut out X-Men 3 and Origins Wolverine with Days of Future Past and it doesn't really fit. And all the fanboys are like, doesn't matter. It's fine. It's fine. Like it just
We'll
works.
take it. We'll take
It
it.
just works. It's fine. Everybody's cool with no comb over, with the teeth being fixed. Jamie Foxx being able to be a little bit more Jamie Foxx in the role. That's fine.
It's multiverse. If anyone who's nitpicking that is really missing the point.
Yeah, they really
exactly.
are.
That's why I'm going. It's a variant.
I'm okay with that
Very
too.
well could be.
Yeah.
Because you're talking infinite universes, so there's a very good chance that there's two universes that are so fundamentally the same that there's this slight variation on these characters that they wouldn't be able to tell the difference ultimately.
Nope.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe this one, when he goes through wormholes or something, his hair and teeth get fixed. The one thing before the break that I wanted to get into is with Willem Dafoe and as Goblin and as himself. There are differences of opinion on whether or not he was Goblin the whole time, or if there was a switch at one point where when he was at Feast, and he was talking about being like confused and not knowing where he was, and people dying and being like, and it was really like heartfelt and sad that you realize that we are actually talking about somebody with like mental health issues. No matter if it was some magic gas that gave it to him.
Yeah.
It's really representing people with like multiple personality disorder or some kind of like mental health issue that we're dealing with, and handling it that way, you get a lot more of a like, oh buddy kind of approach to the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe he was Osborn up until they said we can fix him. When just you can almost see his body kind of
Tense up.
tense.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's the switch.
And
that's what happened right
first
there.
time you hear him using that voice outside of the helmet too is when he's facing away from
Doc Ock.
Yeah,
Doc Ock,
Yeah.
and where he's like, when you can be your whole self again or something.
Yep.
That-
Without
Without your
that's-
darker half.
Boom.
without your darker half.
And
yeah.
that's the switch.
That scene, just like his spider sense and just everything is just going like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just, and then just, that switch, and he puts the web on.
So good.
Yeah,
Especially
that
since
was
they
good.
only introduced the spider sense in Infinity War. It was the first time that you see the spider sense, where you
Yeah.
see the hairs raise on his
Yeah.
arm and the buzz.
You mean his spider tingle?
the spider tingle? Yeah,
Do you have the tingle? I have
Trust the tingle.
I have the
Trust the tingle.
just not for
Trust
bread.
tingle.
So good.
I was surprised by one scene where he defeats Doctor Strange with math over magic. That was impressive because
Yeah.
what I expected was going to happen was Strange was fucking with Peter using portals, and that eventually Peter was going to like really sink in and trust his spider sense and use that so he could predict where the portal was and then punch Steven in the face using his own portal.
Yeah.
But instead what he did was he used math, which is a great character moment because it shows that Peter Parker is more than just his superpowers.
Sure.
Yeah. He's an incredibly intelligent, high IQ individual. I mean, he was going to get accepted into MIT, not a slacker school.
No.
No. So, yeah,
It's not Yale.
Sorry, the three friends we have.
Jeez.
And just like when they're all like making like cures and stuff, Andrew Garfield's just like, yeah, I got Connors. I made a cure once. Like, I already made it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then they look at him and it's like,
covered.
what? It's not a big deal.
She's like, it's not a big deal. I already made the cure.
Put the lab coat back on again.
When they were all freaked out by Tobey Maguire's bio web.
Yeah, that was great.
They came back to it too.
It comes out of you?
It's
weird.
As much as I love all of their interactions, there's something so special, and I hope that there's extended scenes on the Blu-ray of them just all talking, and it's like 5 minutes of them just talking.
Yeah.
And it's perfect.
It's genuine.
Yeah, and I feel like they let that scene breathe, and that was a really good choice. You needed to have that moment where it's like the eye of the storm bits before all the crazy shit happens, where it's like the penultimate episode in a series where it's like everybody's preparing for the big battle, and they're just sitting around talking about how gross Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is.
Do you have a web block? Oh, man.
I've got a web.
No, now that you say it, I remember I did.
Yeah.
Existential crisis thing.
Oh,
Yeah, and they're like,
Been
oh,
there.
been there.
What's some of the craziest villains you guys have ever fought?
I fought a guy with the goo, black goo on him.
You've been in space?
Space.
You guys are so cool. I'm lame.
I fought a Russian guy in
Hey,
armor.
don't say that.
You're amazing.
You're amazing. That was beautiful.
Just
Just all the in
Mwah.
jokes. If you
Absolutely
didn't
perfect.
know, if you hadn't seen Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 1 and 2, you could you could still enjoy this movie. But
Very
if you
much.
had seen all the other films, you got the in jokes. Even the nods to Steve Ditko, the two of them I saw. And
I saw
just-
the
Yeah.
graffiti on the roof
Yeah.
that said Ditko.
Yeah,
I saw that.
and there was another one on a truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay. I missed that one.
that was all the just the little Easter eggs that weren't just hey, we're in here, that kind of add to the story a little bit, but it was just so fun to watch. them.
Absolutely. We've talked a little bit about the interaction of the Spider-Mins, but we're saving the big meat of that for the second half, which we're going to get to in just a second. So we're at our halfway point. We're going to take a break, listen to some of the other shows available on the network. And when we come back, we'll talk about our sponsors, what we're drinking, and eventually get to a drunken scene or two as well. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Coming straight from the mouths of madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm FU Hunter.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're going to fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
Embrace the madness.
My name is Amy Bogard,
And I'm Mike the Hobbit.
and we are the hosts of Deeply Upsetting, where we use our expertise to answer your most upsetting hypothetical quandaries, such as what non-winged animal deserves wings?
And what body part deserves a secret mouth?
Which cryptid is the worst roommate?
These questions and more that plague you will be answered on Deeply Upsetting, available anywhere you get your podcasts and at GUIPodcast.com.
In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots,
FU Hunter.
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May the schlock be with you.
Hey guys, Scotty Big Daddy Preston here, that's right, the Geek Father, asking you to join me here every other week with friends and family of the GUI Network as we go through all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent. So remember, join us or cry.
We're back for the second half of Geeks Under the Influence, all things Spider-Man, No Way Home. And before we get into what can be possibly one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, I'd say it's up there.
It's up
at
there.
least as
Yeah.
part of the conversation, at the very least.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to talk about our sponsors, the ones that help us get a little bit of cheddar so that we can continue doing this this weird, dumb thing that we've chosen to do for close to 7 years. So first off, of course, it's Amazon.com. It is the holiday season. And by the time this comes out, you probably should have already purchased all your stuff through Amazon. But it is also a weird year. And I know a lot of people are having like later meetups after Christmas with like splitting families or friend hangs, that kind of deal, where you might need to get some last second gifts. And the best way to do that is through Amazon.com with the Prime ordering, where it's going to get there in well, it's supposed to be 2 days, but it might be it might be a few. Things are weird again, but it's going to be a little bit easier getting all your stuff in one spot than running around to all the different stores. So when you do that, just make sure you go through the link at GUIPodcast.com for Amazon. And when you do, we get credit for any purchases that you make. So you are spending the same amount. We are getting a little bit of money to go towards all the costs that go into running this network. So we do appreciate it. And yeah, that's your little Christmas gift to us at the end of the year. And fuck Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
I didn't come up with something creative this time, but yeah. But yeah, fuck him.
Space penis.
Yep, that guy.
Super villain in training.
The other one, and I have seen, I want to thank everybody that has purchased some GUI gear for the holiday season. At this point, it won't get there in time for Christmas. This coming out a few days before Christmas, but
Kwanzaa.
we have had a decent amount of orders going into the holiday season. So I want to thank everybody for picking up your Tucci Gang hoodies or your surprisingly so. The I'm glad Uncle Ben is dead design is not selling well. It's not
Really?
It's really not selling that well.
Surprised.
Well, you got to change it now to May.
No,
Too soon. Too soon.
No one's happy that Marissa Tomei is.
Yeah,
No, I know. I'm just
no
kidding.
one is happy.
First off,
about that.
I don't know if I would have the emotional fortitude to write that down on like a graphic design. And also, I don't want any of our listeners to be murdered by a gaggle of nerds.
I don't know how to process my feelings, so I just make. I'm still processing what happened.
We've had 60 years to deal with Uncle Ben being dead, so that we've had time to process that. On May, that's real fresh. So, on that note, yeah, we do have a lot of other designs that aren't hateful about Uncle Ben that are available on our website. Just go to GUIPodcast.com/store or just click the TeePublic link on our homepage at GUIPodcast.com. That'll send you over to TeePublic, where we've got over 40 designs available. We're going to be getting rid of our holiday-centric designs. That's our Halloween and Christmas designs that come out only around that time of year after the first of the year. So if you want to jump on those real quick while they're still available, just make sure you do it before the first. It should be coming down shortly after that. So there's sales still going on pretty regularly. You're going to be able to get those shirts for like $13 or $14. Mugs, buttons, pins, magnets, all sorts of stuff available there. So definitely worth spending a little bit of that Christmas money on that Grandma gave you to get the Live, Laugh, Love Human Centipede t-shirt.
God.
Or the
you know what? I'm getting that for my grandmother.
Yeah, there we go. Or the Manhattan Development, where it's Dr. Manhattan in Never Nude shorts. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. There's some really good designs on there. So check it out and support GUI and show off our funky, fun designs for all your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And on to the thing that really powers this show. The thing that really makes us the Under the Influence part of Geeks Under the Influence. We're talking about what we're drinking.
Hey, we're fucking drinking. We're getting drunk. You want to know? Well, here you go. Hey.
I'm drinking Diet Coke.
Getting drunk.
My segment's done. Thanks, Spice.
Bruce is the only one that by the end of this episode is going to sound like coherent and normal.
Okay, hey, hang on.
Well, not normal.
Okay, why dare insult me saying I'm going to be normal?
No, you're a part of this network, sir. There's nothing normal about you.
Nothing normal here.
So as far as a thematic choice, Jack has
I don't know if this is thematic, but I'm enjoying it.
I think it will actually make you mutate into being able to shoot webs out of your body if you drink this concoction.
I'm okay with that.
But is only just your wrists?
Maybe. I decided to recreate a cocktail that I accidentally fell into. You gotta be careful where you fall, man.
Yeah, you gotta be careful where you fall.
This is, I'm calling it the Phase 4 because when I originally made this, it came out purple, which is apparently the color of magic in all of Phase 4.
Yeah.
So it's UV vodka, Rip It Tribute, which is cherry limeade flavored, with some garnish of maraschino cherries and blueberries. It's very tasty. I wouldn't call it good.
When you add Rip It energy drink to the cocktail, that definitely takes it down to a certain tier.
No, that is liquid hate and discontent, which is exactly what you need if you're going to play a supervillain.
Mm-hmm.
True. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Willem Dafoe was downing before he went.
I wouldn't doubt it. That or a bag full of Coke.
Yeah, well, I mean, at his age, he's got to be careful, especially doing his own stunts. Oh, that's probably how he did his own stunts.
I feel no pain.
That wasn't a stunt wall he plowed through. That was a literal just wall there. That wasn't even in the script. He was like, "I'm going for it." Fucking. Tori, you've got a beverage as well, a fancy beverage.
Yeah. So I brought Old Forester, 1920 Prohibition style.
Nice.
It is 115 proof.
Wow. Okay.
I got it at the Old Forester distillery when I was in Louisville, and I hadn't opened it yet. And after seeing No Way Home, I needed a stiff drink to process my feelings. It was rough stuff. I cried on the way to work. Like I didn't cry during the movie. I was just very in shock. And then I cried on the way to work.
I cried during the movie. I'm not ashamed to say. I came home and poured some bourbon myself when I got home.
It was just so much to process. I texted my husband and I was just like, I'm emotionally distraught. And he's just like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm not okay.
Not okay.
I need to see it again immediately.
I just kept having visions of Will Ferrell in Anchorman in the phone booth, screaming about being in a glass case of emotions.
See, I just decided to torture myself this weekend because I went to go see No Way Home with you, and then the next night I started the final season of The Good Place.
Oh,
no.
God.
No.
Oh, God.
Oh,
no.
my God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Talk about like fucking Tear City.
Just crying
Ooh,
all the way from
God.
Thursday until Sunday night.
Oh, my God.
Just done.
So you need the energy in that energy booze right there. Just
I probably need to hydrate more than anything but bucket.
Oh yeah.
If you've never seen 6 Feet Under, don't start it now. Just wait. Until...
Nope. Gotta ride this high all through Christmas.
All right, then just power through.
Power
the
through.
finale's really funny. Trust me.
yeah, real fun.
No one's gonna cry at
No,
that.
not at all. I'm not drinking anything special, but I think if you were to pair No Way Home, you're gonna need a lot of beer or booze to get through all the emotional roller coaster that this movie has. So I would say pick up any kind of variety pack, and I feel that that's thematically appropriate.
Just keep drinking.
Yeah, just pick up something that has 3 or 4 different types of drinks in it, whether it be like a sparkling
Or the same drink, 3 different flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like
That could
get your get your different type of
get your
vodka.
White Claw on,
Yeah.
or
No
White Claw.
No.
We White Claw.
Someone had
No.
some trauma.
No.
Congratulations, you're qualified to watch this movie now.
That's no, you joke, but I think, especially, I think it's just the character in general. I think this movie connects it a little bit more than some of the other movies have, where that is something that I have talked about at length with friends for years, about Spider-Man being a character that people that have dealt with significant trauma kind of align themselves with to a degree, because it's what a comic book character is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a representation of the struggles that we deal with in day-to-day life, what we deal with in our lives, and somebody that's so young dealing with that much struggle. People that have had some fucked up shit happen in their lives, they can find some kind of parallel to the character, and they find strength in him to a degree.
Well, there is the argument to be made that the spider sense is just Peter's overactive trauma response.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because people who have had major emotional traumatic events will tell you that they get like a danger sense when certain situations are about to turn. And because they're hyper aware of certain signifiers of people about to lose it or somebody's about to haul off and hit them. And you could really call spider sense just a trauma response. And if there's any character in the MCU who deserves to have that.
Yeah. God, I remember reading article or something that talked about how people that call themselves empaths, it's more the fact that they've been through so much trauma in their life that they are hypersensitive to body language and emotional cues more than other people are. So it's not that you're empathetic, it's that it's a built-in trauma response to all the shit that you were dealing with. And I read that, and then I got a beanbag chair and I put it in the closet, and I just listened to Tom Waits for 3 days in the closet. And just weeped.
Too fucking real.
Yeah. I don't want to grow up. Tom knows. Just like fucking feeling my feelings. But I don't know if canonically it is a trauma response, but it is definitely representative of.
It explains a lot of Peter's actions in canon as being just like traumatic response mechanisms.
Yeah.
Like a lot of his decision making, a lot of his ways of protecting people, the way he deals with others. The quipping is just a defense mechanism to.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, if you have any funny friends, they have dealt with some shit in their life.
Oh yeah.
So that's just kind of
Hi.
trauma.
I have coworkers, like I work in an office. Well, I work remotely, but when I was going to the office, there were people that would like nitpick little things that happen in the office, and they'd get excited about Panera bread and stuff. Very, very, very white bread type stuff.
Yeah.
And it would get annoying, but then I realized it's people that literally like have not dealt with a whole lot of shit in their lives.
Right.
Hey, guess what you haven't seen? Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I can't really be mad at that. That's more like, good for you. That's awesome that you are boring. That you haven't had to develop a personality out of like sheer necessity.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Spider-Man being quippy and being off the cuff and also very hypersensitive. Yeah, that's all dealing with all the shit that he's dealt with. Yeah. So now that we've brought down the show.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
No, you're good.
It's all your fault.
I want to go further into
That's
it
what I'm here for.
by talking about, first off, the initial scene where, first off, we didn't talk at all about the fact that Ned is Magic Ned now.
Oh yeah.
He's got tendencies.
He's got
a tingle of his own.
He's got a tingle of his own.
Yeah, he's got a little.
Go see a physician.
That'd be neurological damage you have there, Ned.
But also, his grandmother is the most adorable person. That's
Oh,
ever
yeah.
existed.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fucking great. And also that scene of throwing bread at Andrew Garfield is fucking so good.
Yes, I have the tingle, but not for bread.
Not for bread. It's like, why are you throwing the bread?
What, is this not good enough? I'm literally hanging from one hand. He's just hanging one hand from the ceiling. It's like, what? This isn't.
He
good
didn't
enough?
even leap. He just
still-
elevated his foot, his feet, and just dangled.
Yeah. Little hop, bing, stuck. Like, okay, what? That's not good enough.
Then when he gets the spider web and then he gets down, he does the little like shrug at the end, like, okay, well, there you go. That's I know that this is reminiscent of how he played Spider-Man and Peter Parker in Amazing Spider-Man, but he's leaning in so much harder that the tone of this movie, it makes it so much more enjoyable and fun than it was in the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
I think that's a good lead into the point that the reason why this movie can be categorized as one of the best superhero films and certainly one of the best like Spider-Man movie that we've ever seen is because it has the advantage of building on the strength of all of the MCU and both of the previous iterations that we get to see, and we're getting a resolution on 2 other movie sets and Andrew Garfield's own MCU trilogy and a continuation of the MCU itself that's been building on the streaming shows and the movies and all this stuff. So it's like a wealth of things to actually pay off on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that with Andrew too. I just felt like he was leaning into it more. And whether or not he was I'm sure he was obviously affected by the fanfare. Like he's not the best. I'm sure it affected him. So he like maybe did more research and wanted to do some stuff. But like the redemption arc for him in this movie, particularly like with MJ, catching MJ.
Yeah.
Beautiful
and
moment.
When I saw the trailer before we knew, I saw her falling in that same way, and I'm like, Andrew Garfield's gonna catch her.
Nice.
I knew 1,000%, and he did.
It was a great choice.
And like the look on his face,
that said everything.
It meant so much to him to do that.
And she's like, "Are you okay?" And he's just got this look on his face, and I'm just waiting for him to do that,
Start
like
crying.
That Grinch response, that Grinch viral video response of, "I'm kind of fucked up."
Well, I went the second time I saw it with Amy Bogard, and I wasn't sure if she had seen Amazing Spider-Man 2 or not, because a lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
And so that scene happens, and Andrew Garfield jumps out and like catches MJ, and then it's like, "Are you okay? Okay?" And I lean over to Amy Bogard and commence to mansplain to her. So that's.
I hope she beat you in the theater.
No, she's like in the peak of her feelings about it, because she does recognize the importance of that moment, and she's just fully in it, like in that moment, feeling it, like riding that wave, surfing it, and then dumb boyfriend turns over and goes, "That's how Gwen Stacy died in the..." And she's like, "No, I know." And I was like, okay, all right. fully bites my head off, understandably so. She's like, "You're fucking up my vibes right now. I'm trying to feel this shit, and you're just fucking Gwen Stacy. I don't know if you know the Spider-Man 2."
Well, actually,
back in me, Spider-Man 2.
Okay, all right, cool. Nope, yep, fuck me. All right, yeah.
But yeah, the symbolism of like MJ falling, and it's really funny because the second time I saw it, it's like she started falling. Some dude like next to me was like, "Man, they ain't doing this shit again." I knew that. I mean, I had already seen it, so I already knew. But I was just like, no, they wouldn't have done that because he lost Aunt May. He's mad about Aunt May. He hadn't had the scene yet with the goblin where he was like beating the shit out of him. Like he wouldn't have lost him. You know what I mean? Like it would have been dumb. It was not like there was more to that. There was something at the end that was going to happen, which the whole like, I mean, I didn't see that coming, but yeah, that was all for Andrew.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure if they did kill MJ in that moment, all three of the Spider-Man would have said "fuck it" and killed Goblin together.
Yeah, right.
Probably.
Oh yeah, together.
Yeah.
Activate instant kill.
End of Death Proof style.
Yeah.
But with this movie, in the theater, when there's the moment where they're trying to take on these villains on their own and they're not working as a team, and they have that moment like, I'm not used to being part of a team. And like, no, me neither. And then Tom Holland's like, oh, well, actually, I don't want to brag, but I'm kind of an Avenger. Save the planet with them and stuff. And they're all just like, that's amazing. What the fuck is that? I don't know.
Tobey Maguire's response is like, that is so cool. What's an Avenger?
And then Andrew Garfield was like, is that a band? Are you in a band? Like, equally, and fucking bless his heart, just as excited as Tobey Maguire, but about it being maybe some like fucking band that he was in.
But the fact that the both
Do you
of them
play bass?
The both of them are like supremely like supportive of him.
Oh yeah.
Like they're like, oh, that's so great for you. Completely mystified as to what the context of it is, though.
But who else is going to know what he's gone through except another one of him?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's like I feel for you. I don't care a shit what you've done in the past. I'm there for you, bro.
There is a Peter Parker who was in a band, though.
Oh, the punk rock Spider-Man.
No, the one who
one?
died instead of Gwen Stacy in the Spider-Gwen origin.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
was he in a band?
He was in a band with Gwen.
Was he in the band? Okay, because I remember it was the Mary Janes. I don't know if he was actually in the band. I think he was a scientist.
He died in the origin story.
Yeah,
so
I know. But yeah. I don't know if he was. I'll go with you on that one.
Okay.
You say so.
That was their earlier name, was the Mary Janes and Peter.
And Peter.
Yeah.
It's Peter, Paul, and Mary. We just needed Paul.
Yeah, right. But then you got where after that moment where they talk about like working together and then focusing on one villain at a time, that you have this amazing moment that we've all seen them together a lot. They've had that 5-minute fucking powwow, like sleepover slumber party kind of vibe thing
so
going on.
cute.
It was so fucking
adorable.
cute.
Yeah.
But then when they all swing down and I don't give a fuck how tropey it is. I give no fucks whatsoever. There's the moon, and they're swinging in front of the moon, and they all land, all three of them,
in their
that
own
hero
poses.
pose,
Yeah.
their own
Everyone was
poses.
so excited in the theater.
The second time I saw it, they were not a hyper-reactive crowd. It wasn't like a huge crowd. It was a decent-sized crowd, but they weren't like super reactive. But in that moment, somebody up the front right of the theater yelled, "Holy shit!" like loud as fuck. And everybody else was like, "Yup!" Like no one was even mad at him. Just,
Yep.
That happened with me too. The second crowd I was at was not that reactive, but that scene, everyone pretty much like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
all that
shattered the
anybody
roof for
wanted to
that.
see is the three Spider-Mans.
That is the money shot of the whole movie. They did all the build up. They wanted to like get the multiverse thing going. They wanted to introduce the other Spider-Men. They wanted to build up their relationship. They don't get that glory shot until you are absolutely convinced that they're a team now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see it happening where they're tossing the different equipment to one another, which it was really handy that they could come up with all the stuff they needed in a underfunded high school science lab. But
To be fair,
To be fair.
to be fair,
two of them had time to think about the solutions.
Sure.
And had done it before.
Or
Well,
had
one
already
of them.
done it.
Yeah.
I already did it once. It's no big deal.
it's no big deal.
Like
No big
again, this is the redemption story for two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that was a big criticism on the original Spider-Man movies, is like that they were kind of kill happy for their villains, and it was mostly because the studio didn't want to have to pay continuously for recurring villain roles. But
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like, is it really true to the character that Spider-Man just up and murders like
Mercs people,
everyone?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that. Speaking of, they did definitely add a little bit more like questioning as to what exactly happened in the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire, because the way that he explained what happened to the dude that killed his uncle
Yeah.
is like,
Yeah.
I wanted him dead. I got what I wanted. Where it suggests that it wasn't as much of an accident as it was kind of led you to believe in the original movie.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, he was like fully puffing his chest out a little bit, be like, yeah, kill the fuck out of that dude. and didn't.
I don't see it like that though. I think it was like, yeah, I wanted the guy dead. I got what I wanted. And he wasn't thrilled about that fact.
Yeah.
It was like, I got what I wanted. Didn't want it once I got it though.
I think the whole like reason behind that too is because he said the guy I thought killed, because we all know Flint Marko
Ends
in the
up
third
being,
ends up being the one that actually killed, and the other guy was just the getaway driver.
Yep.
So he killed like an innocent. Well, not
innocent.
No.
but you know what
yeah.
I mean. He killed someone that
The wrong dude.
the wrong dude.
Yeah.
So I mean, he had to deal with that.
But true to the character arcs, he still like it seems genuinely happy to have saved Marco.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he had reached that moment of like closure about that. You know, he
did.
Yeah, he realized that things are more complicated than just like black and white. You know, it there's some gray in there, mostly gray most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that Marco, his villainy in this was he was impatient. Like that was his
Pretty much.
That was his whole arc in this whole thing was him. He showed up and he's just like, first thing he does is protect Peter. Protect Peter. And even Peter's like, I'm not the Peter you know. Like I'm a different Peter. It's complicated, but like help me out and then I'll explain it. And he's like, fucking cool, no problem, helping out another Peter, cool. And then it's explained, and he's like, I just want to go hang out with my daughter. Can we do that? And
I mean,
like,
it was his original motivation,
but
too.
he was like patient, where he's like, yeah, I don't really give a shit about any of this. I just want to hang out with my daughter. But you know what? Let him do his whole thing, and then once he's done, then he'll send us back. That's cool. And then once that just wasn't happening, is when he's like, all right, listen, bitch. I don't give a fuck. Yeah, cool. You want to fix people? I don't care. Send me home.
I feel like he also, like, a little bit, like, when they're in the field, it was, like, almost like he was someone at, like, the Salem witch trials. He's like, wait, what'd you do? Where'd you go? I don't trust you! Like, all of a sudden just switched it, like, so fast.
that was not a
Witchcraft!
that was not a great part of that movie, unfortunately. That was just one of those, hey, I'm going to flip a switch all of a sudden. And, yeah.
Well, that was an argument that I was, well, not argument, but a nuance between this movie and Endgame that I was having with a friend yesterday about it, is that part of their argument on them liking this more than Endgame is that the characters were a little bit more fully fleshed out, that they had more time, screen time to really develop as characters. And my point to that was that Endgame, there were like 800 characters.
Yeah.
So it was relying on the development that already happened in previous films to really give them like that already, you know, fleshed out character. Whereas in Spider-Man, like, the Spider-Men had chance to develop. The villains didn't.
No.
Like, they didn't give the villains nearly, I mean, Lizard has no arc in the entire movie.
Truly not.
Even Sandman, he has minimal arc. Really, it's focused on Octavius and Goblin are the two characters.
The Maguire villains.
The Maguire villains.
Electro some.
Some, yeah. But yeah. But he doesn't have much of an arc. He's like, hey, I kind of like it here. That was it.
He's the one that just sees opportunity in this new world. Be like, I think I might stick around. This is pretty rad. This electricity is fucking doing it for me. It's tickling my balls just the right way.
If I had an arc reactor, I probably would too.
Yeah. The one thing that I hadn't thought about until Alfred Molina said it, where he's holding the arc reactor in his hand, he said, the power of the sun in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck. Oh.
Yeah.
So
Flashback
perfect.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So perfect. Going into the final part of the movie, where it's Tom Holland fighting Goblin. Like the original Spider-Man like movie villain.
Yeah.
And they're going toe to toe for a second, but there's this rage in him that was so reminiscent of like Luke fighting Vader in Jedi, of a character that was like knew better and was better than that, but just the rage took over.
He wasn't pulling any punches. Literally, you saw him take a punch to the ground and crack that shield. And it was like, that punch is going to do some damage if it lands.
And then the minute that he takes the glider and he picks it up and is about to crush him, it's like, this could get way darker than we were expecting it to be.
Yeah. But thankfully, Tobey Maguire stuff.
And that's Tobey Maguire's redemption. There's Andrew Garfield gets him with MJ falling, and then Tobey Maguire gets him with stopping the glider from killing Goblin.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is a beautiful moment, and also a moment where that was enough to click Tom Holland's Spider-Man back into reality of like, oh fuck. So when Andrew Garfield throws him the cure, he's like, yeah, no, yeah, this one. Yeah, let's do that instead.
I think that was the most shocking moment of the whole movie for me is like when he gets stabbed, when Toby gets stabbed.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was just like,
oh, God.
like the breath,
Yep.
like it left everyone's
Air got
body.
sucked out of
Air
the
got
room.
sucked out of.
Air got knocked out of Toby's
theater.
lungs, too.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like,
And everyone's just like, I mean, I thought he was, they were
Yep.
just going to kill him. And then
I've been stabbed before, and Andrew Garfield's like, oh, good.
It's like, you're in a lot of pain right now. It's like, oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, oh, yeah. So it was like, okay, he's okay.
But also the you're in a lot of pain moment, they are like arm in arm as Andrew Garfield's holding up Tobey Maguire, and they're looking on as Tom Holland is swinging to meet his friends before they forget him
Yeah.
with this look of pride, but also
Yeah.
almost like a mentor looking at, who their mentee
Yeah.
as just like, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna do the kid's all right.
When they like hugged each other and Tom Holland's like, I love you guys. Like, I really felt that. I was like, he's
Oh, yeah.
really saying like,
Yeah.
thank you so much for letting me be Spider-Man and following in your footsteps. Like, I really felt
Yeah.
that.
I think at most from the release of this episode, we've got maybe a week tops before they start openly talking about the other Spider-Man being in the movie.
Yeah.
They're still kind of holding back a little bit, which I
Give it at least a
appreciate.
week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, I remember you saying it's like we kind of expected them to make appearances in the movie. Like we expected, like when as soon as they said Alfred Molina and freaking
and Jamie
Willem
Foxx,
Dafoe and Jamie Foxx
I
are
didn't
going to be in
realize
there.
they were going to be so heavily
Such a
integrated.
big
They showed
part of it.
like 40 minutes into the movie, and then they're in the rest of the movie.
Right.
That's incredible.
It's almost amazing.
Oh.
Spectacular.
Oh, no.
even superior.
Not well, kind of, because he has the mechanical arms in the suit too.
Instant kill.
Instant kill.
No, the Iron Spider versus the
Doc Ock.
Doc
Oh
Ock
my
yeah.
God.
tentacles. Such a
Oh,
good
that was
fucking
great.
Oh, when he
fight.
looks at the
amazing.
tentacles and is like, looks like we have some competition.
Yeah.
Oh, cheesy, but I loved it.
Just
I
so
fucking
good.
ate it up.
Ooh, he's like, nanotech, I'm impressed, Peter. like it's very like, I don't know, that scene, I mean, that's, we're going like backwards, but I love that scene so much. And then when he gets like the tech on his like
The arms.
tentacles,
Yeah.
whatever, the arms, you're just like, oh no. But then it's just like Bluetooth synced.
Yep. Oh, so smart. That was
Yeah.
such a smart
So
idea.
smart.
And again, the one of those moments that shows that Peter is more than just his powers.
Also impressive that Otto Octavius had Bluetooth technology in like 2003.
The superior Spider-Man obviously would have Bluetooth technology. in
Obviously.
2000.
No.
Oh, gosh.
It's like, hey, look, I can do this with your arms. Oh, look at this. See?
And then he saved the woman. She gets out of the car. And she's like, hey, you, that was not nice. And she hits him with her purse.
I could totally see her doing that.
Yeah.
I could totally see somebody getting out of car. It's like, you son of
That wasn't nice.
But I did also appreciate that the introduction of the first Spider-Man 3 villain, or the only Spider-Man 3 villain that really makes an appearance, that is the moment that the internet was on fire. Like, oh, he's got a black suit on. It's like, but clearly Doctor Strange has something to do with it because there's like a floaty stuff happening.
on his wrist. Yeah.
On his wrist.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is this suit? Is this like Doctor Strange made him a suit or whatever? And it's literally...
He turned his suit inside out.
But also, that is such a reference to the black suit, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That's when he meets the Spider-Man 3 villain that knew him in the black suit.
Yeah.
So it was a lovely little like, well,
Oh,
clearly recognizes him because
that's true.
black suit Spider-Man.
Yep.
But the fact that
He
it's
couldn't
just...
get the stain out. And
And then apparently Aunt May is a beast at removing stains.
he was
Well,
trying
yeah.
everything to
Yeah.
get that
Yeah.
stain out.
Well, she's out of practice. I mean, I'm sure.
She's an ant. She can do
She can-
laundry.
Yeah.
Leave it to a woman.
See, I can't say that, but I'm glad you did.
Aunt May's death was a lot. That was powerful. That when there's additional framing later, you recognize just how much, as I was talking about earlier, that Uncle Ben's death didn't have that same framing. That you understand that, she was the Uncle Ben of this version of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And then so it makes sense that she says, with great power comes great responsibility. And that as I think Bruce, you were saying earlier, that this really is where you don't recognize it until this movie, that this is almost like the prequels to the other Spider-Man movies, where this is all
sort of,
where he gets the powers before he gets the recognition of what he should be doing with them. You know, that it gets to this point where he's, you know, technically out of high school now. He's studying for the GEDs, as you see a book in
God,
which
one of
the boxes.
Horrendous.
Is tragic.
That fake out where you're like, she's okay. That was not nice.
No, that was not appreciated.
It was rude.
Very rude. I really thought like, oh yeah, no, she's okay. And then,
But that made it more powerful.
Yeah,
When she's like,
no.
oh, yeah.
it was
she
the
ain't
wobbling. It was just like she was wobbling a little too much. I was like,
Yeah. I heard in the crowd like, like there was people making noises like, I'm not sure if she's okay, or people are like, oh, is she okay? Just this weird in between feeling that everybody was having, like, oh my God, no, she's okay. It was,
and he has to leave her because he has to run.
Yep.
It's just
heartbreaking.
Almost as heartbreaking as Happy's face after they break up. Where he like peeks his head in the door, we broke up, and then disappears again.
Oh God.
Bless Jon Favreau for not only being engaged in these movies when he's not directing, but also just having so much fun with that role. I mean,
the sleep apnea machine.
Oh my God.
You could totally see him actually having sleep apnea.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just like, yep, there we go.
Or when he's just like in the car, he's just like, hey, I just saw my Ring camera. What is that, a cyborg?
You bring a cyborg
With robot legs.
A guy made out of mud. Call me.
I like the little scenes, like the little nod when you have the Daredevil, when you have the new Matt Murdock and the old Foggy Bottom in the same...
Or Foggy Nelson.
Foggy Nelson.
Yeah, because Jon Favreau was Foggy.
In the Daredevil movie.
In the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. It's like, hey,
that's
look.
painful.
Yeah, isn't it?
It is.
We've been dancing around it long enough. The best line in the entire movie when Andrew Garfield asks how Tobey Maguire is going to be going out into the battle. What was it?
It's a cool youth group pastor.
Are you gonna?
Right?
Are you gonna stay dressed as a cool youth pastor? Or do you actually have a suit or something?
Yeah, and then he just like shows under his.
It's part of having a secret identity. It's keeping it secret.
No, the look on Tobey Maguire's face when he pulls down his shirt, he like giving him this look like, of course I have a suit.
Yeah,
Like-
but it's also like dunked on hard. It was so good.
Yeah. Oh my God, that got the biggest laugh.
Oh, that was great.
Both times I saw it.
Yeah.
Just
That and also when Ned was asking if Tobey Maguire had a best friend, and he said, yeah, he died in my arm, but it was really tragic. It was after he tried to kill me, and Ned being like very confused about I'm clearly thinking that it was a version of him that this happened to.
But the beat that he took, and he was just like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
While he's putting the thing in the beaker, he's just like
Heartbreaking.
And then Ned slowly rolls away.
Yeah.
Andrew's in the background like, what the fuck?
Nobody is going to accuse of Tobey Maguire in the original Spider-Man movies of being a great actor. It was very hammy and heavy-handed and awkward.
So a Sam Raimi movie.
But because it's a Sam Raimi movie, it really works. The calmness that he approached the character in this version, where it's a more seasoned Peter Parker, he's seen it. He doesn't have as much to prove. He's seen it. He's done it. He's very aware of himself. He's a fully informed person. I really liked that about.
I mean,
this
I
version
think
of him.
I like the implication that it's like he's a dad at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like
they don't come out and say it.
You almost wanted to go back and see him with little Mayday Parker.
Yeah.
You kind of wanted to see that.
Kind of want to see it.
Yeah.
Doc Ock said it, like, Peter, you're all grown up.
Yep.
And just like smile at each other.
Oh,
like,
there's like, how are you? Like they're just old friends seeing each other
he's
for the
nice
first
now,
time. Oh my
so-
God, so lovely.
Yeah.
But I do want to bring up before we're done, because we are about at the end here, is that the internet is going buck wild about this movie in general, but also Andrew Garfield specifically, that they're calling for this. The idea for the script for Amazing Spider-Man 3 has been floating around as well. And
don't do it.
How much fun Andrew Garfield was as Spider-Man in No Way Home. There's questions, are they going to expand this universe to have different iterations of Spider-Man that they could do, which I think
that's ambitious.
That is ambitious, but with the expansion that the MCU is going through, the only thing that I could see as a possibility is if there is a endgame in the plans between Sony and Marvel on sharing this character.
Yeah.
That if Marvel helps set up Sony to be able to have their own kind of Spider-Man universe with an Andrew Garfield or with like different iterations of Spider-Man that they could
Spider
do.
Core.
Spider Core, sure.
Yeah.
Madam Web can show up, sure, fuck it. And then you have on this end where that helped assist get Tom Holland to the end of his arc that then introduces Miles Morales. And then they can kind of like, in a friendly way, being like, maybe we'll work together in the future, part ways, and Sony can have their thing and Marvel can have their thing as separate universes that are technically part of the same universe. I see that as probably why they're planning things out several movies ahead now.
I mean, I have, obviously there's going to be a fourth.
Oh, yeah.
They've set it up.
Yeah.
But it's almost like he's getting a new arc. It's like this new version of him. I felt like with Andrew and Toby, I felt like they just like closed their chapters.
Sure.
They really just like, I don't know. We don't need it.
I tend to agree with you on
We
that.
don't need it.
This felt like the end of this movie felt like a very soft reboot where there's like, all right, we've got all this Avengers stuff out of the way. Guess what? He's now the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that the story that you classically think of Spider-Man, where he's the poor, college student. He's working his way. He's working at the Daily Bugle or wherever at the time. And he's kind of working his way up. But so this is where it begins. The new old Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I'm into it.
Yeah.
I mean, all in support.
I think it's so interesting that they started later in the story of Spider-Man with the MCU, and then it circled back to it starting at the very beginning after 3 movies. It took a very different path to get to where we are now with that Spider-Man character in the MCU, but like it did get to where it needed to be the true young adult Spider-Man in college.
Without all the superpowers and without all the special suits. And he's going to be this guy.
Do we have time to talk about Venom really quick?
Yeah.
I mean, that, first of all, hilarious mid-credit scene. And then he's like, I need to go see this Spider-Man. And then just a little bit of goo.
Yep.
Sir, my family was gone for 5 years.
Which that's Danny Rojas from Ted Lasso.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a character from Ted Lasso, which is an amazing show. I fucking love it so much. And he's this like hyper positive, incredibly good soccer player.
It's because of the hair. I didn't.
Yeah, the hair's a little different.
Yeah.
I just like the look on his face when Eddie like just evaporates right in front of him after he says, "You need to pay your tab." Because he's just got this look on his face like, this has happened before.
Yeah.
God, again.
It's like, damn it. He's like, man.
Yeah,
he's thinking, though, the blip happened.
There isn't a lot of sense that comes from that version of Venom being the one that shows up in the MCU universe.
Right.
But it is kind of lovely that there's a moment where he's trying to wrap his head around
the MCU.
Yeah, the MCU in general. Where I feel like I've had that moment where friends are been like, okay, so there's like, okay, then Hulk and Thor are like in a gladiator thing, and I'm trying to explain all the different levels.
Try to explain the
stuff.
entire MCU to somebody who has never even heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And you thought Legal Protector was a shit name.
And
because it is. Yes.
Just another reminder that like the Venom voice is just Tom Hardy's voice through a filter.
Yep.
So he's doing these lines where he's got to play off of himself.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it.
He's the most brilliant depiction of the character
Agreed.
I've ever seen.
And with that piece of symbiote in the MCU now,
Yeah.
they can really take it any way they want to, because technically, as what's already been shown in the Venom movies, and also in the comics as well, is that a piece of that symbiote would become a separate entity.
Yes.
Like Riot in the first Venom movie, or Carnage in Let There Be Carnage. So this wouldn't technically be Venom. That would be in the MCU. Would be
It could
some
be
of their,
Toxin.
It could be Toxin, but also because it's a parallel universe character, there is wiggle room for them to say that because it's from a different universe, it would react differently and become kind of its own version of Venom.
Yeah.
Or it's a variant of Venom.
A variant of Venom, yeah.
Mm.
So that's remains to be seen, but it's pretty likely that we're going to see Venom as a major character in future Spider-Man films.
Very possible, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then all the other things that all the other silhouettes you happen to see in the time stream.
You saw an actual rhino, like a dude in a rhino costume, rhino.
And
Craven. Yeah, Craven the Hunter. You saw it with the
Spear.
The spear, yeah. And
a couple others.
There were a couple others. That's going to be one of those, like, either watch a video on YouTube or do it myself when it comes out on video, like fine-tooth comb.
Yep. Oh,
shot
yeah.
for shot.
Guarantee someone's already done that.
Scorpion, Shocker, the
Yeah.
original Sinister Six, another version of Vulture.
Sure.
There's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So that's a fun. This is so full of Easter eggs. It's
Oh, God, yeah.
just lousy with them. So this is so immensely rewatchable. This is something that I'm going to probably watch at least 30 times in coming years, if not more. And I can't be happier about it. Yes, it's not. No movie is perfect, and yeah, there are some little nitpicks here and there, but it does fan service, but not ham-handedly.
It
like
isn't a fan service movie.
No, the fan service that it does
It's
continue
still
the plot.
story appropriate.
Yeah, it does make the plot move forward. It's not where everything stops.
The biggest fan service moments are like the aside jokes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire's back, and, you're amazing, and just that sort of thing.
My back.
The back thing.
That killed me.
Speaking of, we're at the tail end, so we've got to get into our last little bit of fun before we go here. We're talking about a way that we make sure to ruin everything that you love in a segment called Making a Drunken Scene. Making a Drunken Scene. That was my Venom impression.
Well done.
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was good. So here we go. We got a couple lines from this actual movie. I was able to find. First off, the funny thing about looking up the quotes from this movie is because there are multiple Peter Parkers. First off, I've got to give nothing but love for the people that transcribe the quotes on IMDb so that we can use them. You're beautiful, amazing nerds, and I appreciate you so much. And though I get it, because it's funny as shit, challenging when all the characters are Peter Parker. And you don't change which Peter Parker is which, so I had to go through and like add numbers to them so we could actually do this drunken scene.
Well, they did in the credits too, the same way. Yeah. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Thanks.
Cool. So this first one is the team conversation, and we've got Peter Parker 1, 2, and 3. 1 being Tom Holland, 2 being Tobey Maguire, and 3 being Andrew Garfield. Do we have any specifics? The next one is just a diatribe from J. Jonah Jameson. So I don't know if
I'm gonna volunteer to do JJ.
Okay.
All
You want to do JJ?
you have it. I wanted to do it, but you take it.
Does anybody have a specific Peter Parker they want to work with here? Or?
I'll be any Peter.
You'll be any Peter.
We're all Peter Parker.
She'll take any Peter that's presented to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll take one.
You'll take one? Okay. I will.
So we're doing this in the reverse age order.
Yes, we are. And don't talk down to your elders, okay?
I'm taking 3.
I can only talk up to you.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're Tobey Maguire.
Okay. I'll be 2.
Okay.
Yeah, you're 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 3. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to work as a team.
Oh, that's so close to what I was going to do. Hold on. Fuck.
Sorry.
No.
I don't know how to work as a team.
It was pretty good. Shit. That's like a weird Owen Wilson meets Seinfeld thing that you're doing there. That's pretty good. Me either.
Well, I do. And I have been in a team. Okay, I don't want to brag, but I was in the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
What is that?
Wait. You don't have the Avengers?
Is that a band? Wait, are you in a band? That's fucking gold.
Oh my god.
Fucking gold. We're gonna get phone calls any day for major movie roles.
Oh yeah.
After that,
yeah.
fucking that banger of a
I was
scene
really
right there.
channeling Pleasantville Toby.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Okay.
It's one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay.
All right, so now we've got a little one-man show situation happening with the Dungeon Master himself as J. Jonah Jameson.
All right, let me see if I can. I got to think about a moment where I want to slap the shit out of somebody because they were playing drums badly to get this right.
You just off a little.
You just do a Richard Nixon impression if he didn't have as much jowl, and then you've got
God. Yeah.
what I was just doing.
No, you are all jowl.
all jowl, no filler.
All jowl.
Oh, God.
Okay. Tragedy. What else can I call it? What more need be said? The damage, the destruction. You saw it with your own eyes. When will people wake up and realize that everywhere Spider-Man goes, chaos and calamity ensue? Everything Spider-Man touches comes to ruin, and we, the innocents, are left to pick up the pieces. J. Jonah Jameson reporting. Good night, and God help us all.
All right.
All right.
Not too shabby. Well done.
Nice.
All right, and on that note, thank you so much for listening to this Tire Fire of an episode. Way below the rung of professionalism that we saw in the movie itself that we were talking about. But you know what?
Par for the court for us.
That's pretty even.
Pretty up there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We're happy to shoot for the middle. That's our catchphrase here at GUI.
We may not be a 5-star, but we definitely hit, and as expected.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not hitting a bullseye, but we got on the board. So,
And that's what's important.
That's what's important.
That's what's important. You don't get any points if you're not on the board.
Just a reminder for those that are unfamiliar with our breaks, during the holiday season, we take a couple weeks off to enjoy the holidays and just get a breather after all the craziness of the year. So all the different shows are going to come back at their own time, but it's usually somewhere between 2 and 3 weeks that we take to do our own thing. And so as everybody's coming back from their vacations or their relaxation, you're going to see us coming back sometime in early January.
I'm actually, my show isn't going to be taking a break. I'm going to
Okay,
be continuing to do, bringing you all of the information that you don't really want to know. But yes, I'll tell it to you anyway.
So basically what Bruce is saying is he's better than us. And
I never said that. I only have to do 5-minute shows.
That's true. Here we
I do
are on
6 minutes of recording.
Here we are on hour 30 of this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still have the Bruce holding down the fort while we're all doing our thing.
That fort is screwed.
It's really a shanty kind of situation. It's pieces of cardboard and
Some
twine.
tarp.
Yeah, some tarp in there. But yeah, we're gonna be taking a break for the holiday season. So join us in 2022 for a brand new swath of shows from Geeks Under the Influence and all the other shows on the network. We've got some surprises in store for you in this next year. So definitely stay tuned. Join us on our social media. Subscribe, rate, review. Just so you know, Spotify has just started allowing for reviews and ratings of podcasts on their platform. This was announced the same day that we're recording this. So this is brand new information. And so if you're an Apple listener, you can already do that. You can do rate and review and do all that. If you do Spotify, now you can give us ratings and reviews, and that really helps. So if you're listening, there should be a little rating button right on our page for GUI or any of the other shows. Click on that. Give us a rating. Give us a little review. We appreciate it. It helps us be exposed to new people that might be able to enjoy the show. So that could also be a little gift to us from you during the holiday season.
And we do like exposing ourselves.
We do, in fact. There's many court cases that have come about from that. So thank you so much to my panel for rounding out the end of this year with me on this perfect cap, I think, to the end of the year is this amazing film. So I'll see you in the theater for another watch of this movie in the meantime, and we'll find you next year for another crazy year of Geeks Under the Influence. I'm Mike the Hobbit. Join us or die.
Shut the fuck up, Hobbit.
Join us or die! Join us or die! Or I will swallow your soul!
GUIPodcast.com.
Spider-Man!